Welcome to Outside of the Classroom. Education is important, but not that bullshit, abstract, and theoretical education. You want useful, relevant, and actionable lessons that will help you succeed in life. So that's what we do. It's your boy Pham, your host, and now let's hack your education together. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Pham, and welcome to Outside of the Classroom. Today's guest is Shawn Quintero, and he is such a passionate individual. He's an author, entrepreneur, artist, and overall just an inspiring human being. This episode gets pretty deep as Shawn opens up about his journey from getting bullied, almost committing suicide, to transform himself to do all the incredible work he has going on today. So in this episode, we talk about why is having a passion simply not enough in this world? What is self-identity? Why is it important? And how can I find more clarity on my own identity? And what did Shawn's mom say when she found his suicide note? And so much more. So make sure to go back to the show notes at www.outsideoftheclassroom.com/Shawn, SHAWN, to find all of the resources, the free books, and all the guides that we have talked about today. So without further ado, let's dive on into today's episode with the one and only Shawn Quintero. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Tam, how are you?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good.
Awesome. Just a quick question. What do you have for breakfast this morning?
Oh, I didn't have breakfast.
Oh, not yet.
It's National Donut Day today, so I'm waiting for someone to bring me a donut, but I have not had breakfast yet.
Nice. I had to get myself a donut later on today. But
Awesome.
cool. Well, Shawn, I met you 6 months ago at the Lean Startup Conference, and I loved how we clicked so instantly. You know, today you're an author, entrepreneur, artist, and most importantly, you're so passionate about people, and it's really incredible. I know you had many ups and downs along your journey, in which we can get into, but I would love for you to just take a moment and introduce yourself to the listeners.
Well, my name is Shawn. I am the CEO of Do More Be More. You can visit us at domorebemore.org. I lead a team of 7 people where we creatively and just passionately find ways to change the world and to take on the challenges that are set in front of us. Things like autism, things like female empowerment, things like the disabled, and being able to creatively uh, figure out how to empower those people and to accept them as they are and to make them even give them the ability to improve. That's what we do at domorebemore.org. So I personally, I'm a Star Wars enthusiast. I love Star Wars. And I'm just really, like you said, I'm passionate about people. I really, really, truly love the divine call that's placed on people to do work that makes them passionate, excited, and joyful about life.
I definitely agree. I want to dive more into do more, be more. Like I love it, of course. I told you that many times. But how did you start this idea, or how did you want to start this movement? What sparked your, you know, initiative?
Well, originally, so before we do that, I'm a video producer at a mega church. I do a ton of different series and video productions. I was focused in maybe 3 years ago on this one video project for 6 months, and it was insanely crazy. Stayed up late, woke up early, had crazy film hours, and at the end of it, it made me realize how capable I am to do something that I want to do, that I can think up and imagine, and just to go do it. So I thought, okay, how can I do this and continue to do this because I love it so much? How can I use my creative flair, if you will, and also make a difference in the world? And so I thought, well, let me do. Originally, I was going to do something called a night of comedy because I had done something so serious before. I was going to study up on comedy, and I thought I'm capable to do this. And naturally, I'm just not a funny person. I am. A lot of my friends can, my personality is just naturally serious and kind of melancholy, and so just I thought, well, this isn't gonna work. Let me find my natural talent where I'm really good at already, and just build on that. And so, while I'm serious, I love making people feel something and care about something, and I like to inspire people. So let me do a night of inspiration. So originally, I did a night of inspiration that we brought in a ton of performers, a ton of creatives, and I did a speech at the end, and everyone loved it. Originally, I only invited like 10 people because I didn't want to fail in front of 100 people. So I
Mhm.
invited people who would still love me even if I failed.
So
Um,
your mom,
my
your
mom,
your
my
sisters.
sister, exactly. um, and even then, my mom was like, "I don't even know what this is, but I'm here to support my son." So, but it was really fun. It was really cool. Everyone loved it. The my backyard caught on fire, which was
Oh
pretty
no.
awesome. Because we had these bonfires, like 6 bonfires for 10 people. Crazy.
Nice.
um,
Wild.
yeah, so the whole story, I run inside the kitchen like I need a cup of water or something to throw this out, and I come out with a little baby cup that's my niece's, and while I'm running out, one of the audience members goes to a water hose, casually grabs it, turns it to water, and I'm freaking out. And so anyway, so we did that. Everyone loved it. Um, Everyone was talking about the fire like for weeks, and they still talk about it. But so we decided to do it again, and this time maybe invite a couple more people, just to see, okay, will this work, or is it just kind of the people who love me? So we invited a couple strangers. We asked people to invite people that I personally don't know, and it went from 10 to 50 people, and everyone loved it again. It was just really phenomenal, and we just kept doing it. And this last time we were so packed because we've been doing it in my backyard. um, we have to go to an amphitheater now. So our next event is going to be at
Wow.
an amphitheater.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so we're just really excited, and the why behind all of it is because I needed a creative outlet that allowed me to also change the world. I've been called too artsy, too creative, too poetic, and it'll never reach people in a way that I want to reach them. It's too abstract, and so I thought, well, let me do something that's going to prove that wrong, essentially, and have a creative outlet where I can kind of be myself and be original and be artsy fartsy, and make a difference. And it worked. So
Yeah, I love it. I love how you took an idea, use your abilities and creativity, and made something out of that, even when people told you you can't do it, or you're not create, or you shouldn't be too creative or too artsy. So I find that very admirable. So congratulations, Sean.
thanks, thanks.
Also, I want to talk to you more about passion. You talk about being passionate about people, passionate about your creative arts, but what do you think about if someone who doesn't have a firm grasp of their passions or realize their passions? What do you think about? I guess how do you define your passion? And
Sure.
is should you even is that even a thing that you should aim to do?
Sure. Well, I think in our society right now, it's all find your passion, do what you love to do, find what makes you happy. And personally, this comes off to me as a very selfish ambition. It's do what you want and don't care about anyone else. And you said it in the beginning, I'm a very big believer in people. I love people. And the reason why is because I see so many people's potential. On my team, every single person are people who were being underutilized because nobody saw their potential, and now they're doing magnificent work. And so I believe in seeing people's potential flourish. And most of the time people are just waiting for permission. People are just waiting for someone to say, hey, go do that because you have permission. And I realized that that's the same thing I was doing. Was I was waiting for someone to give me permission to go do something great, and I decided, well, I'm not going to wait for permission. I'm just going to go do it myself.
Mhm.
And so, how does passion kind of tie all into that? Is I one of the greatest human accomplishments was taking out smallpox, and that was declared the greatest achievement of the human condition, to take out smallpox, to eradicate it. For me, I want to find the next thing that's going to be the greatest achievement for the human condition, that's going to radically improve the world. Now, I have no idea who the lead person on that was, and personally, I have been really thinking about legacy and what's going to happen. I mean, in 400 years, when I'm completely forgotten and this conversation is nowhere to be found, maybe somewhere on the internet. What's the purpose of it all? And I go back to that. What is the purpose of the actions and the lifestyle that I'm doing? Is it simply to make me happy? Because if all I have is 80 years on this planet, then 80 years of happiness, I guess for me is very unsatisfactory because I'm going to have great moments, I'm going to have great ups and great downs, and then it's going to all end. So ultimately, I have to do something that's bigger than myself, and I have to sacrifice my
Mm.
own happiness for the betterment or the improvement or the empowerment of other people. Why? Because that's the only thing that's going to last. The impact I make on someone else is going to last. The happiness I feel isn't, because happiness is based off of what's happening. And so if I focus in more on what people on people's needs and challenges and focusing on being the creative problem solver for that, then legacy no longer becomes about me, but legacy becomes about other people, and
Mm.
other people outlast me. And so
Well, to
I
be
try to find, oh, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you, but to be the devil's advocate,
Sure.
can you be passionate and still help other people?
Yes. And so where I was going was find your
Oh, okay.
passion, but I'm going to add to that, find your passion and change the world. Because
Mm.
if all you're doing is finding happiness, then it's temporary. It's not it doesn't last. But if you find your happiness while also changing the world, then that's going to last and that's going to give you fulfillment. So with Do More Be More, I found a way where I can be happy, I can be artsy fartsy, I can find my passion and fulfill it and also empower other people. So I think it's a two-way thing. If you just find your passion, it's not good enough. But if you just focus on other people and don't focus on yourself, then you're going to essentially burn out. So it's a matter of finding the balance of how can I use my passion for this purpose of empowering other people.
Mm. But just to be devil's advocate again,
Sure.
I love challenging you.
No,
Um,
please.
but for those listening who don't have a strong desire to like solve the world's biggest problem,
Sure.
um, can't someone just be happy with themselves and maybe become a comedian because they love acting
Sure.
and not really solving any big problems, but just living their life?
Sure.
Do they have to have a legacy?
And I think that just goes into personal drive.
Hmm.
The idea here is that every single human being, at least what I personally believe, is that every single human being has the divine call or the human call to look around and to say, okay, someone else has a need that I can fulfill. Let me help fulfill that. Um, sure, someone can be a comic and be insanely funny, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think the better thing is to do comedy and to make people laugh and to make people have fun and enjoy their now, um, because they're so focused on brokenness. For example, I heard a comic, actually know this guy, who lives in Southern California. He does comedy for cancer patients. And
Oh
so he
yeah.
has found his passion, which is comedy, to make people who are in the most dire situation smile,
Hmm.
forget the fact that they are losing their hair, forget the fact that they have to do chemo. And
That's
so,
awesome.
sure, you can totally do comedy, find your passion, fulfill that, and that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Do that. But if you can also empower other people or find a way to make a difference, that's even better. And so, for me personally, I always strive for that better. And I would even encourage other people strive for the better because that's going to be a lasting impact in the world around you.
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to take a quick pause right now and tell you about my new book, Networking Success for Young Professionals. And I share with you the exact tips and strategies I've used to build my network, which leads me to job opportunities, promotions, new friends, and so much more. And it's sad because I have to often turn down opportunities because I just can't handle it all. And I'm not saying this to brag, I'm telling you this because just a few years ago, I was a nobody. And today, people are offering me help. People want to hire me. People want to meet me for coffee. Now, how did this magic happen? So find out more in the book. And if you want to join the email list, and you get notified for a free copy before I raise the price in the future. So you really have nothing to lose. So enter your email address at www.outsideoftheclassroom.com/networking to get on the email list and get this free book when it comes up. Again, it is www.outsideoftheclassroom.com/networking to get the free book. So now back to the show. You are dropping some wisdom today, Shawn. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
These are awesome answers. Two-way streets. to do your passions and help and change the world. Not you don't have to find the next problem or the next biggest um pain point, but you can still, for example, be a comedian and do stuff like that. I know Seth Rogen has done some stuff
Oh, sure.
in that
Yeah.
field as well. I would love to segue into personal self and like self identity. I would love to ask you, how would you define self identity, and why do you think that it's important to have a clear definition of yourself?
I think the way you figure out who you are is to figure out first who you're not. When I was
Ooh,
in high school, I was literally every genre of kid that there was. I was the goth for a moment. I was the emo kid for a moment. I was the scene kid who had crazy hair. I mean, there are photos online that I just want burned. I was the prep who only wore Hollister or Abercrombie and Finch. I was the jock
the
who was
job.
like, okay, let me go into sports. Let me focus on that. I was the nerd who was who excelled at um, speech and debate and different things like that. And it was through finding out what I was not. I was not the emo kid. I was not the jock. I was not that. But this is what I am. Helped define it. If I know anything of what to do, it's a lot of what not to do. I've failed so many times that I've figured out, okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to do this. And
Mhm.
the same thing goes with identity is figuring out who you are starts with figuring out who you're not. For me, I was so afraid of saying that I was a Star Wars enthusiast in high school because I thought I was going to get beat up because I was bullied when I was younger. I was bullied for the way I talked. I was bullied for the way I dressed. I was bullied for the way I walked. And it forced me to become so insecure that I decided I'm just going to be everything and anything. And what happened was that ultimately helped me define who I really wanted to be and not really care about the world, what the world labeled me as, but declared my own identity and took control of that and said, this is the type of person I am. But not only that, this is the type of person that I want to be. And I
Mhm.
think that's where it happens is look at the people around you that inspire you, that um, make you want to wake up late to work hard, that makes you live a life of principle and of standard and of excellence, and say that's the person I want to be. Surround yourself with those people, and you'll ultimately become those people.
I
So
love it.
find out who you're not, find out who you want to be, and just go do it.
Wow. And at what age did you come to this realization?
It kind of evolved and it's continually evolving because I don't believe I hate the answer, who are you? And that has to do with identity. Who are you? Because that's so limiting. If I am this, then that is who I am and that's all I'm going to be. But the
Yeah.
question I prefer to ask is, who am I becoming? And that is a forward question. That forces me to say, I'm becoming that. So then my actions have to reflect that identity. I have
Mhm.
to express what I inwardly believe in myself. And that's everything that Do More, Be More is all about. Do this and then become this. If you want to be a man of honor and of integrity, then do things that are going to bring honor and show your integrity. Or if you want to be a woman who's empowered in the workplace, then empower yourself and do work in the workplace that's going to reflect that identity. So, figure out who you are, who you want to become, and just go take it.
Mhm. I love it. Some people, when they ask the question, "Who are you?" and they would say their job title, like, "Oh, I work at Five Guys," or
Sure,
I'm a marketing manager at Google."
sure,
And but people don't realize that your identity is so much more than a title and so much more than just one thing. It's like you said, constantly evolving, constantly changing. And the better question is, like you said, who are you becoming? I love it. You mentioned about bullying in your life as a kid and other struggles that you face. Was there any particular low moment in your life where you said, "Okay, this is a time where I need to change. I need to step up my game, and I need to empower other people and just change everything about my life"? Was there any specific moment that happened that gave you that realization?
sure. When I was in middle school, I was bullied, and and the bullying took form of name calling, just kind of dirty looks. I was the brunt of a lot of jokes. It wasn't a lot of physical bullying. Of
Mhm.
course, here and there, maybe shoves and different things like that, but not too extensively. It was more on the emotional side. So growing up, I had this idea that I was different from everyone else and I couldn't be accepted from anyone. I felt like I was a loner. I would walk around school all alone, hoping someone would come talk to me because I was so afraid of talking to other people. And it went to a place where my identity had been so shattered and so broken that I wanted to commit suicide. I remember writing this letter to a friend of mine, and she was freaked out, obviously, so she shared it with the teacher, and I ultimately went to the school counselor. And I was so afraid of admitting it, that this is how I'm feeling, that I kept lying, like, oh no, I didn't write that. And ultimately, or eventually, I said, okay, I did write that. And I, at the moment, because I didn't want to get in trouble, I said I was joking. And so my mom took it serious, though, thank God. And she took me to our church to get some spiritual guidance. And from that point, what happened was the church surrounded me with people who genuinely loved me, authentically loved me. And that's when I realized that what I have always been told isn't necessarily the truth. The world I lived in wasn't reality, it was simply the world that I perceived. That the bullies, the name calling, the jokes, all of that wasn't what I had to use to define myself. But the love and the support and the courage and the comfort of the people who are now surrounding me, that is the reality that I can live in and flourish in. And so I just because I was surrounded by lovely people, though, and people who genuinely, authentically loved me, and um, didn't mean that it all got fixed, because I was depressed for most of my teenage years. I was extremely insecure. I was extremely depressed, and I didn't know how to overcome that. And it came to a point where I just had to say, okay, today I choose not to be depressed, because depression is a choice. Of course, there are mental illnesses at that, and there's kind of the neurological aspect of depression. And if somebody right now is listening and you're on medication, do not stop. But for me, at that point, it was a choice for me to get up and to say, okay, I'm not going to be depressed today, because I'm going to choose to be something else, and I'm going to do something different than what I've always done, so that I can get different results,
Mhm.
and the result not be depression, but the result be joy and fulfillment and happiness. And that took time. That was in no way just one day, okay, I'm choosing to be happy and I'm happy and I'm joyful.
Yeah.
That took time, that took effort, that took a daily choice. And even now, I can say there's still that battle, that inward battle of, okay, am I going to take the world and just conquer it today? Or am I just going to say, nope, too difficult, not going to do it. I'm not good enough, etc. And it's a choice. I have to daily choose, no, I am good enough and I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
And for me, the power of choice was the most powerful realization that I had in overcoming that depression, and that insecurity and that loneliness.
Very cool. You can't control the cards you were dealt with, but you have to make the most of what you've got, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited about life. I wake up every morning just, okay, how can I overcome today? I stay up late working on work, doing good work that I'm passionate about and excited to do. And if I go to sleep with all of these ideas, I just can't sleep. I have to, okay, just one more hour. I can stay up one more hour and just get this done. Because it's work that I enjoy, but also work that I know the results are going to bring forth restoration in someone's life, happiness and joy in someone's life, healing in someone's life. And so, because I see the results now of the fact that I chose to get out of my depression, to get out of my insecurity, and to um, allow people to love on me, that choice can now extend to other people and say, hey, I'm choosing to help you choose to get out of your depression, out of your insecurity, out of your loneliness. And I'm going to be the person who's going to champion you, who's going to believe in you, who's not going to let you give up when you want to give up. When you come to me and say, I'm going to give up, I'm going to point back to you and say, no, you're not, because there's too much, you're worth too much to give up. You're worth so much more than this one challenge in front of you. and you can totally overcome it, and I'm going to help you overcome it. Um, and so that choice has now expressed itself in this joy and in this happiness and in this ability to help other people.
Wow, Shawn, thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable. I'm sure the listeners very appreciate your honesty and your genuine self. Thank you for sharing. I
Well,
would love
thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I'm super excited about what you're doing, Tam. If I can do anything right now, is to inspire you to keep going. You have such a passion, such an excitement, such an enthusiasm that it has to change the world because it's so genuine and so real, and people look at you and find freedom in that because they think if he's so excited, I can be excited. If he can do it, so can I. And so, Tam, you're amazing. Great job at what you're doing.
Thank you, Shawn. You're amazing too.
Thank you.
I would love to end this podcast on a couple of rapid fire questions. Is that okay?
Sure, let's do it.
Awesome. On a more happier note,
Yes.
who inspires you, motivates you, like maybe leaders, role models, inspirations?
I'd have to say number one, Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian, fully am inspired by the work he did and the restorative arm he did. My mom inspires me. She's made so many sacrifices for me and just has loved me through it. My stepdad, my family, my church family. Yeah, you.
Thank you. You inspire me too, Shawn. My last two questions. What book would you recommend to young people listening to this podcast?
The one book that I read was a book called Launch, I believe by Jeff. Oh, I can't remember his name. And that
Bezos?
really
Wait.
helped me understand strategy in how I do business, how I do work. And so that is a lot of practicals, not just theory, but practically what do I do? And that really kind of encouraged me and helped me figure out how to do and how to be successful at what I'm doing.
I love it. I love theory can only teach you so much, but action is what
Yeah.
I strongly believe in as well. And my last question, what is one parting piece of guidance that you want to leave with the listeners today?
Do it. Be encouraged, be inspired. Find work that makes you want to stay up late and wake up early, and find work that's going to bring healing and restoration because we need that a lot more in the world now than more than ever. So do work that's going to change the world, and don't care about legacy. Don't care about what you get from it. Just do work that changes the world, and ultimately you'll be satisfied. Ultimately, you'll find fulfillment, and ultimately you'll have a legacy that lasts beyond just your own happiness, but the happiness of other people.
Shawn, you inspired me and all the listeners today. Where can we all find you?
DoMoreBeMore.org. For all of your listeners, you can get my book, Better, that goes more into detail on my depression and how I overcame it for free. All you have to
Woo!
do is go to DoMoreBeMore.org/better, BETTER. That's what the book's called, and discover how I got better. I just want to help people, so get it for free.
Awesome. Everyone check out domore.org. So Shawn, thank you so much for coming on to this podcast. It was amazing. And I hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, talk to you later.
All right, take care, Shawn.
Bye bye.
And there you have it. Thanks for joining me today on the Outside of the Classroom podcast. Make sure to go back to the show notes at www.outsideoftheclassroom.com/Shawn, SHAWN, to see all the resources, books, and guides we talked about today. So I hope this was helpful. Shawn shared his amazing journey on self-identity, suicide, depression. I really hope that when you take what you learned today and just take action, like what he said at the very end, do more, be more. Again, all the resources can be found at www.outsideoftheclassroom.com/Shawn, and talk to you guys all later. Stay awesome.